Alright, nothing above. I bet they got a secret knock that they come running because they answered the phone and said they were in this building, but they won't answer that door. Alright, so the public defenders say they're at the Plainsman. I checked every floor. It seems likely that they're on the second floor. That door's locked. They answered their phone from this one. I walked over to these guys and they actually made the call. McMaster, Glell, and Seward, but they won't answer the door. Cash-wise, put a bakery where the fish department should be. They have no fish department, seafood department. I spoke too soon. Here it is. Alright, a safe distance away so you can't hear what they're saying. Cops got somebody out of their car, standing around. What are the chances they go to jail? So the municipal court, like secretary, says that she has no connection. Ooh. All right. I'm just gonna sit right here. No connection to the jail, but she works for the court system. It's like, I bet she would, I wish I would have mentioned it, I bet she would deny having any connection to Kevin Spacey too. Alright, my little knife made it into an evidence bag. Yeah, they didn't bother to fill anything out. I'm breaking the seal here. I guess this is the receipt. But they just kept it all together. They didn't give me a receipt since I was an inmate. Evidence Pro with Acti seal. Shop evidence. Alright. Just a little jackknife in there. I really don't appreciate public servants telling me that I don't need to know their names, okay? I walked into the courthouse going to the magistrate's district clerk. As I was walking there, the bailiff's sitting out in the hallway right in front of the courthouse. They're across the hall from each other, and he's like, you need to get a number to to go to court. And I'm like, well, I'm here to talk to the clerk. Or I was like, what? I was just there to talk to the clerk. And he's like, well, something like you need to take a number to go to court or something. And I'm like, I don't have an appointment. I'm just here to talk to the clerk. And at that point, I'm like, okay, what's your name? And then this lady who's working in the clerk's office Not Karen. The other, an older lady than Karen. Is that what she said? Karen? Oh, I gotta remember names better. I gotta write names down. Because now that there's no way her name is Karen. But I asked the bailiff his name and he wouldn't give it to me. I really don't appreciate when they don't tell me their names. Even if I forget them, I still should be entitled to hear their names and start the process of remembering, so I know who I'm talking to specifically. It was kind of amusing in the magistrate courts. I was the second person, but that first person is a obese girl, white girl, and the judge made a big deal about reading this paper. He's like, "Have you read this? And do you understand it?" And she, when he asked if she read it, she was like, "Well, I read most of it." And he's like, "I want you to read this and understand it before we can continue." So she had to grab this piece of paper from him and then go back into the seating. And then he called me and he asked me the same question: "Have you read this and do you understand it?" And I'm like, "Yes, Judge. Yes, Judge." I kind of hesitated I almost wanted to say, "No, Judge. I don't know what you're talking about." But I didn't want to get put back in the witness area. I just wanted to get through with the proceeding. Whatever that paperwork said, I'm sure it wasn't that big of a deal. But I was just like, "Yes, Judge, I read it all." He wasn't quizzing us on it. He was just asking if we read it and understood it. That's it. I mean, it's basic rights, generally. Interesting how they have so much lavender around this jail. And I wonder if I could take sticks. If I could take like a stick, you see it's all the way down there. Take like a stick of it. Is the stem poisonous? I don't know. They got a lot of it. And if you could just take sticks and put it in tea, man, I'd do that. There's a lot of it here. Right, this guy might be checking me out. I think I'm legally parked. He's checking me out though. No. What? This lady's telling me I'm not on your property. Okay. Alright, so this lady's claiming that I'm on her property. I'm going for a walk. 268 ABW. Bye. I have a feeling that the cops are going to surround me. Oh wait, maybe not. Well, I don't know then. I've seen two police vehicles. Oh, there he's turning in for her. Okay, one is showing up, the other I don't know. I think this one is waiting for me. Or not. All right, here I am on airport property. That lady called the cops. They showed up. I seen them pull up. I was a good distance away. We'll let them talk over my parking issue. But I want to use the Walmart bathroom, but I forgot a shirt in my rush to get out of my car and walking away. So I have to take off my undershirt. Try to dry it out. It's pretty sweaty. Take off my undershirt, let it dry as much as possible, and then put that over my mouth when I enter Walmart. I don't want to get stopped. Right, I see my car is still there. Karen didn't get it immediately moved. I thought I saw somebody camping it, so I'm going around and approaching from the rear. It's not easy to see. I can only see the top part of my car. Very concerning to see how dirty, how low these people could go. If she dares call the cops, you know, you don't know what kind of connections she might have, but I'll risk it with the legal stuff. I don't see any ticket right now. I'm a good distance away. I'll approach from the rear. All right, here's the approach to my car from behind. I thought somebody was camping it, maybe, but there's nothing here, nobody here right now. See, it's a dead end, got a creek, and you know, somebody might stop by later or something. Oh man, people. So no ticket. They didn't touch my roots. Nothing was messed with, but I believe I'm legally parked. So whatever their issue is, I hope they let it die down. All right, what are all the ways that my mom got in trouble with the trailer park management while we were at Camelot Acres in Rice Lake? I could think of 4 that I knew that really stood out as a kid in the 80s, mid to late 80s. And I'm not sure if this is chronological order, but one involved her growing sunflowers along the edge of her driveway, and they were fine starting out early on, but then they got taller and taller and reached the point where they were just too tall, and they were making the management angry. Oh, okay, gotta get around them here. And then she had to remove them. Then there's another time when they had issue with it looking trashy underneath the deck. We had a pretty good size deck, just not just stairs that went up to the trailer, like a deck, maybe 10 by 10 size, and she was storing all kinds of stuff, maybe the lawnmower and hoses and whatever else, child toys or something, and the management got mad at her for that, and she had to remove them. And what she did was, I think she initially removed them, and then she put bricks to cover people for being able to look underneath the deck. I think that's how I recall it. And then that solved the issue. Another time, there was a playhouse that my grandparents got, and brought it over to the trailer. We already had a shed, and apparently you're not allowed to have 2 sheds, and this playhouse is as big as the shed, so we had a shed and then the playhouse right next to it, and that got the management angry, and they complained, and she had to remove it. It was kind of cool to have that shed for a little bit, though. A lot of the neighbor kids were coming over to check it out. We were becoming popular with the neighbor kids. They weren't the best quality neighbors, though, but I mean, it was interesting to have that kind of attention that the management pretty much put a stop to. Let's see, what else is there? Shed, garbage under deck, sunflowers. I wanted to mention dogs too. She never actually got a dog, but she always wanted to. Instead, she got like 10 cats or something. We had a lot of cats, maybe 3 or 4 cats inside the trailer, because we couldn't have dogs. But she could stockpile cats that had kittens that run around the trailer court. And I don't know if she got in trouble with the cats at all, but definitely she wanted a dog and she was not allowed. And then the last thing I can think of, that actually it's maybe controversial. You're not allowed to have like massive trees, but she like planted a pine tree in front of the trailer, and just it grew, and it stayed there after she moved out and got even bigger. Nobody's cut it down. Maybe it's down by now. Lot 99 in Camelot Acres, and it got pretty big. I don't know what I think there's a limit to this tree size in the trailer court, I'm pretty sure, especially sitting in front of the trailer. But she really pushed the rules for the trailer court. The trailer court had pretty strict rules. I'm sure there's other things that she pushed the limit on. Possibly gardening, but I think box gardens were allowed. She had box gardens. I think those were allowed. Oh, I can write that down. Yeah. All right. Right. So I heard parking authority here in this parking lot. I thought she was gonna mess with my car. She was hanging out over by these 2 cars, and I'm like, what would she be doing hanging out by these 2 guys' cars? They both got tickets. You can't see anything. She ticketed them for parking on the sidewalk. Yeah, I mean, you can park in this parking lot, but why these kids felt the need to park on the sidewalk now? They're young kids. I saw them. They just, who knows what they're thinking. Alright, I just want to make note that I tried a little bit of this plant's leaf. It's slightly bitter. I kind of like it, but I don't know what it is. It's starting to like flower or something. Big plant with big broad leaves. Could be poisonous, I don't know. It almost looks like the sunflower, which it's mixed amongst. It's got a different top though, but the leaves are almost the same. This is a sunflower, the wild sunflower, and then this is the rival. The sunflower doesn't have the bitter taste. Looks like the cops are leading a funeral procession. What, did a fellow cop die? Let's see if I can... Alright. In the, forget what it's called. Fulkerson Stevenson? Yeah, it's a pretty good funeral procession, led by cops. Going in, and then the grave site is... Oh my God, I can't control my bicycle. No. Right over here. Wow, what a funeral. I don't know if I could slip in between or not. They actually put cops in between the line, not just on the end. And then here's another cop coming in. I want to zoom in on him, so I want to get a good shot of the cop. He might have his window down. If he does, that'd be great. Oh, darn it. He's got a goatee. He drove off. What a line. There's even a truck in the line. Yeah, how many cops do they really need for this procession? This guy's not turning in, right? Huh. Good to see you, Eddie. Alright.
I've known Boone, if he still go by it for 25 years.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll just see, we got, there might be a mix up with the name, so I'll just run the date of birth and stuff, make sure everything's straight.
What are you in for today? Oh, driving thing.
Robert, so I'll just take it back and let them know. Appreciate, cooperation.
Got it. Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're.
Yeah, that's the wrong guy.
Oh, fantastic.
There you go.
I know.
I thought you were talking about highway patrol.
AcuMagnet plan a pre-bill application for water and utilities. Yes, see it? And click on that, and then you can send that over and that bill will get you started with AcuMagnet. Thank you. Can I help you?
sure, yeah. Like, where could I find the calendar for when city council
You
is?
turn that.
Huh?
It's a very bright light you have there on your phone.
Oh my God, why do we have a light on? Okay, what happened today in court? July 30th, Thursday, 10:30. What do you call those? They're kind of like pre-trials where you plead guilty or not guilty or ask for more time. Well, to start out the day, I had a nice cup of tea. And then the first office I went to was the police station to check to see if I had any arrest warrants. And I didn't. So then I went over to the court and waited for 30 minutes. I got kind of early, they're kind of early, 30 to 45 minutes early, and I was the last one. You got to show up at like 8 p.m. for the 10:30 to be one of the first sign-ups. It went fairly fast, but I got to see practically everybody before me. So, I mean, it was interesting. I did want to watch what happens anyway. DUIs and a lot of failure to show up for courts and failure to pay tickets. Imagine failing to pay a parking ticket has the same punishment as disorderly conduct or resisting arrest. Maximum fine $1,500. Maximum time in jail 30 days. That's the same for disorderly conduct, and it's a parking ticket. They are pretty tough on parking, or it's just a strange rationale on how they dish out punishment. They want to make things uniform so they don't have to memorize all these dates. Oh, this one's 29 days. Oh, this one's 27 days in jail. You know, they just kind of they lump things up to make things more efficient in the criminal system. That's what they always strive for, is to make this efficient. Like what you see in those terrorist videos where they line in Syria, where they line the victims up nicely. They just kind of follow the train as they're getting shoved into the water after a nice little head, call it a head incision with a bullet. They line you up. You know, the more efficient they get, I mean, the easier it is to be tougher. You got to be efficient. If you can't be efficient, you can't be as tough. But that's it. I'm last. I was last. But that wait for 30 minutes was interesting. In the hallway, Cruz showed up. He had a warrant in hand. Him and like, I just got the guy's name yesterday, like Gustafson or I can't remember the name. Two cops showed up, but each one had a warrant in their hand, and they were looking for people. Cruz, crazy Jesse Cruz, he goes up to this one guy who has like the same last name as the guy on Cruz's warrant, and he's like, "Hey man, you got an arrest. I got to arrest you here." And the dude's like, "No, that's not me." And then Jesse's like, "Oh, you got an alias or something?" And then Jesse had to go, crazy Jesse Cruz had to go on the phone and like clarify, "Hey, does this guy have an alias or anything like that?" Jesse was picking on the wrong guy. The guy was nearly going to be arrested for somebody else who has the same last name. Cruz is a wild man, picking on people who are innocent. This guy was like waiting for a court date and for something, but Cruz had a warrant for somebody of the same last name. Oh, anybody can make that mistake, but when it comes to Cruz, he's so hard-headed. He'll just jump into things without really thinking about what he's doing. He's like, "Oh, the name's the same, the last name's the same, good enough. I got this guy." And he knew his face. I didn't see him holding any pictures, but I mean, they carry cell phones, so I'm sure they trade pictures of people. So Cruz, I mean, man, that guy's got to be watched. I bet he makes a ton of mistakes. I kind of recorded it, sort of not. Nobody tried to stop me when I was recording until they walked into the courtroom. And they don't want inside of the courtroom recorded. Now this is for like Gustafson's guy, Cruz, and the officer Gustafson, I forget his name, went into the courtroom to talk to this old man who they had a warrant for. And I was looking through the open door, and Scott, the bailiff, got in my face pretty much. And this is an older man in his 60s, a big mustache. He knew my name when I walked in. He was like, he announced it to the city clerks. Travis is here. There's like 15 of us, and he had to announce that I was here. So when Cruz and his partner went into the courtroom, and it looked like I was kind of recording because I was holding this phone in a way that looked like I was pointing it at a scene, the situation. This bailiff got in my face, and I said to him, after a few seconds of staring at each other, it was just like this, staring at each other. I'm like, since you know my name, what's yours? And he's like, Scott. I still don't know the other bailiff's name. He won't tell me. I was thinking about ribbing him, giving him a little hard time about that. Be like, hey, I know Scott's name. Why aren't you telling me yours? So that was a very tense moment between me and the bailiff on recording. And we waited and waited. People came and went. I pretty much just pled not guilty. I didn't even bother with the paperwork on asking for an attorney, because I was just going to plead not guilty, and it says you waive your rights to talk to an attorney or something. So whatever, I'll just work with that. And now I'm waiting for the next court date, August 10th. It's a waiting game. And now this is turning into a bit of a general vlog. Now I just have to find things to do. I got a lot of spare time. I went over to the city hall to ask when their next city council meeting is, and it's called not city council, city, in the city chambers, they call it something else, city commission. They have city commission meetings, not city council meetings. So that's interesting, because I think of commissioners as something separate from the council. They have commission. Oh, it's getting hot in here. The battery just stopped. All right. So I was gonna go sit on a commission, which I think I will, but it's not till the 11th, the day after my pre-trial hearing. So that's a long time away. Just looking for things to do. There's a day labor place nearby. I might try to get some day labor work in, I guess, while I wait. Alright, I seem to have stepped on a beehive. I stepped, and all of a sudden I start hearing all this buzzing. I thought it was a water faucet. There's so much activity in there. It's like several bumblebees all hanging out together. Okay, they're getting out. They might attack. They were angry. Well, they're in good shape at least. Bumblebees had like something in the ground, and I stepped on it, and then I started hearing this water rushing. Okay, they're angry. They're looking around. Oh man, that's scary. Okay. Alright, I think they might have settled down. They don't seem to be so aggressive. But mosquitoes are. Yeah, yesterday I showed up and filled out a card for getting onto the internet for something you'd email.
Did we not
I
get it to you?
I didn't receive anything, so.
Okay, let's just do it now,
I
since I now got better access.
Oh, all right.
It was giving me, it
So to prove that you're indigent, you need to pay $35. Wow. They have a tough system for applying to be indigent. It's a lot more pages than I dealt with in Colorado and in Idaho too. Colorado and Idaho look very easy to get a public defender in compared to North Dakota. No commission. Oh, Commission on Legal Counsel for Indigents. It's not. This sheet is not confidential. Alright, and this is how they'll deny you then. Not eligible. I have a feeling that I'll be denied here. I'm not any richer than I was in Idaho or Colorado. This is one of the strangest setups I've seen. I'm at the museum and there's really no kind of security. They got things laying all over the place. This is what gets my attention. A speedy stitcher just sitting right here next to the popcorn. They had some kind of a big kids event and now they just leave things laying all over the place. I'm assuming that somebody probably lives out here. Yeah, there's Pop. Actually, it looks kind of permanent. The way this truck is parked here. Grass growing around the tires. I think they've had this Yeah, the grass is growing right underneath the vehicle. They're cutting as best they can. Like a permanent ice cream truck. Bounce houses. They've turned this into like a little kiddie park. This is outside. Why do they have these chemical things? This is for like some kind of, gosh, I don't know, drilling fluids? I think there might be barriers, maybe, or I don't know. They got them out here for the kids in some way. They don't leave drilling fluid out on a kid's playground. There's one over here. Drilling fluid. I think somebody lives over there. They got the security of being isolated pretty much. Yeah, they got a dunk tank. Being isolated really has its advantages. I don't know. Oh, this maybe was a swimming pool. Yeah, the kids will slide down this huge thing into some water. What a crazy setup.
There you go. He made that catch right where he landed.